I don't know about you, but I love a good sci-fi flick, especially when there are major plot holes in the science part of the movie. And after rewatching some classic fan favorites, I couldn't help but compile a list in my head of all the movie premises that would never happen in the real world. This should be a no-brainer, but when I first watched it, I was totally convinced that a T-Rex was going to show up at my door. But according to the Jurassic Park lore, all you need to make that dream a reality is an ancient mosquito, a bit of dinosaur blood, and some frog DNA to fill genetic gaps. I mean, I struggled to pass high school chemistry and biology, but my toxic trait is that I think I could totally make that happen. If there was actual dinosaur DNA lying around that survived 100 million years.
It's all an illusion.
Can anybody call up Target for me and ask if they have some in the back, please? Remember when I said I struggled to pass high school chemistry and biology? Well, you're in luck because math also wasn't my forte, and I'm about to give you a little bit of a lesson. So, as animals grow larger, their muscles must also grow and adapt to accommodate their increase in mass. Think about the thick legs of elephants and dinosaurs. Gorillas obviously have no trouble supporting their own body weight, but if you make them larger, like King Kong, but then keep the proportions the same way as they were before, they literally wouldn't even be able to walk, let alone climb the Empire State Building. If King Kong were real, his muscles would be a lot thicker and bulkier. He'd also be way slower. It's just not possible for him to look and move around like he did in the film. So New York City is often cold, but never so cold that it's completely frozen over. Worst case scenario, you've got to dig your car out of a few feet of snow and might slip on some icy sidewalks. Well, in the day after tomorrow, a climate change crisis leads to the next ice age after some majorly unsettling weather catastrophes. And according to a study done in 2018, that type of change is pretty much impossible. Well, to happen as quickly as it did in the movie anyway. And also, even if temperatures did drop that low, it would take decades for that type of climate change to happen. The movie, for entertainment purposes, of course, dramatizes the speed at which this type of disaster occurs. So Bruce Willis enters his sci-fi hero era by landing on an asteroid set to collide with the Earth and setting off a hydrogen bomb, splitting it in two. Well, according to experts, this logic doesn't exactly add up. A study completed in the UK by a group of physics students concluded for that plan to actually work, the bomb would need to be 1 billion times stronger than the strongest bomb ever detonated on Earth. I repeat, 1 billion times stronger. Also, another perspective on this, not knowing that an asteroid the size of Texas would be hitting the Earth in less than 20 days is extremely unlikely. You would know way before that. More like years before that. Still, it's a super fun movie to watch if you're not afraid of natural disasters. You might actually be surprised about what I'm going to say about this one.
No! No!
In Will Smith's 2007 box office hit, his character's objective is to create a vaccine to cure people from a fatal virus that left him, essentially, the last survivor on Earth. The virus ends up mutating and becoming airborne. Infected people also spread the virus by biting one another. So here's where the facts get a little muddy. Viruses don't shift from one type to another. That's just not how they work, at least not outside of Hollywood anyway. Again, this one should be a no-brainer, but honestly, how cool would it be if you could actually do this?
Where are you right now?
We're dreaming?
There are a few things that fall into the realm of never gonna happen when it comes to Inception. Number 1, dreams are specifically perceived by the person whose brain activity is going off. It's just as likely you could insert yourself into your favorite Netflix show from the couch as it is to put yourself into someone's brainwaves. And another thing that can easily be debunked about the movie is there are no medications that can actually induce REM sleep, regardless of what the label on the sleeping pill says. So yeah, in a lot of ways, Inception is top-tier fiction. But there are a lot of things Christopher Nolan did get right though, only bending the rules for our entertainment. So honestly, we can't be mad at it. So this next one, on the other hand, is something I can be mad at. Mostly because I'll never be able to figure out how he did it. Jeff Goldblum, also known as the computer virus master, well, in Hollywood anyway, because in real life, this would not go down the way it did. No one back in 1995, and no one now even, can figure out just how he managed to connect the alien invaders' computer network to distribute those viruses. Like, I can barely figure out how to reset my router, let alone connect to a network in outer space. But what are your theories on how he made that happen? So, okay, yeah, all these movies are insanely fun to watch, but rank high on the list for improbable circumstances. I mean, like, it might be pretty cool to see a King Kong remake where he's totally jacked and moves slower than my grandma on her Volkswagen, though. But what are some movies that should have been on this list?